You probably noticed gay dating can be hard, but a lot of us hold all kinds of unhelpful beliefs about dating that only make it harder. Let's explore and flip the script on a few of them. Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Better Gay Dating podcast. My name is Ed. I'm a dating and relationship coach for gay and bi men. And okay, so I have a confession to make. I sometimes use AI to help me plan these episodes. Everything I say comes from me, of course, but I found AI can be a great sparring partner to help explore ideas or structure each episode in the clearest way. Anyway, a few weeks back, ChatGPT and I were doing some back and forth when it introduced me to my favorite new phrase. It said, "That is complete nonsense, but deeply internalized nonsense." And what a phrase, right? Talk about an AI mic drop, because it got me thinking, so much in gay culture is deeply internalized nonsense. Not quite trauma, maybe not even emotional baggage, but little things we believe that aren't really true, but so many of us believe them that we just take them at face value. So in this episode, I'm going to unpack 7 of these things that aren't true but are so deeply internalized in our culture we take them as true. 7 myths, if you will, about love and connection in our community that keep us stuck or just unnecessarily cynical about what's out there. So let's dive in. Myth number 1. Once I meet the perfect partner, everything will just fall into place. Sure, this isn't just a gay or queer thing. This piece of deeply internalized nonsense shows up plenty in straight dating too. It's the idea that if it's right, the connection will just happen effortlessly, and by extension, if the relationship takes effort, it must not be right. And okay, there is some truth buried inside this. If a relationship is constantly draining you, taking a huge effort to maintain for limited rewards, it's probably not the right relationship for you. But the belief that the right relationship should just be effortless, that chemistry and mutual interest will just carry you to something great is just not true. It leads people to give up too soon on a great connection or avoid putting in work when challenges inevitably arrive. So here's a reframe. Great relationships are built, not found. Great relationships are built out of intention, communication, and personal growth. They're built out of difficult conversations, showing up even when it's hard, or just investing time, energy, and heart into your connection with someone. It'd be great if good vibes alone were enough, but they're not. Myth number 2. If only I get hotter, I'll find the perfect person for me. Okay, this one really gets to the heart of how many gay and bi men feel about ourselves when we're trying to connect in this community. And yeah, with this piece of deeply internalized nonsense, I've been there too, more than once. Because you know what? There is a kernel of truth here too. Dating is a marketplace of sorts. If you expect a ton of things from your partner but can't offer any of them in return, well, good luck with that. But in practice, with many gay and bi men, this isn't about that. It's about the belief that we're fundamentally not enough as we are, and that if we just conform to what we think are the main markers of success in gay culture, all our problems will go away and we'll simply get everything we want. This is often a core wound for gay and bi men, that something is fundamentally wrong with us, but if only we excel at this thing, or that thing, or all the things, we might finally be accepted as we are. Of course, it doesn't work like that. True acceptance comes from accepting the ways we aren't, or can't be perfect, and telling ourselves that we still deserve to be loved and happy. But still, this wound often runs deep. So in dating, if we get rejected or ghosted or just ignored, we often tell ourselves the story that if only I was hotter or richer or sluttier or whatever, that never would have happened. But again, it doesn't work like that. Nobody is immune to rejection or disappointment, even the hottest or richest or sluttiest people you know. So it's just a story that bypasses the reality that dating and life in general come with rejection, disappointment, or just not getting your way the whole time. And sure, our core wound here means plenty of men in this community will size you up mostly by how big your muscles are, how expensive your clothes are, or how many Instagram followers you have. But first of all, screw those people, because they're not having a good time building meaningful connections either. And most of all, here's your reminder that you do not need to win the approval of every gay man ever to be happy. In fact, trying to do that is pretty much the perfect recipe for making yourself very unhappy. Instead, you just need to find a handful of people who love and accept you as you are. That's it. I know that's not always the easiest thing to do in our community, but it is a lot more manageable and is possible. And also, let me tell you from all the years I've been coaching gay and bi men, making your exterior more conventionally attractive will get you more attention in this community. That is just how it works, for better and worse. But it's the inner emotional work that lets you build relationships that actually last. So sure, have your goals, work on yourself, your heart and soul, and your body if you want to, but anytime that voice appears that says you're not worthy of love unless you become that, tell that voice to sashay away, because it's telling you lies and it's not doing you any favors. Myth number 3, gay men are only looking for sex. You know what? Many gay men are only looking for sex. Sometimes they own it and they'll say it to your face or your app inbox. Sometimes they dress it up in phrases like, yeah, just exploring, or I'm chilled, open to whatever comes along. And sometimes they'll say they want something more, but they're just saying that because they know they wouldn't have a chance at sleeping with you if they were actually honest about their intentions. That's never happened to me. Why would you think that? Anyway, this often comes from a core wound too, that we don't deserve love, that real intimacy is too risky, or that genuine mutual love just doesn't exist in our community. I've spoken about this at length in a previous episode. But here's the thing, if you're a gay man who wants more than sex, you are not the only one. And in fact, I can tell you as a coach who's worked with dozens of men on this issue, sometimes the gay men who are only chasing sex do want deeper connection too, they just haven't realized it yet. So sure, it can feel like gay men who are open and genuinely ready for something deeper are rare, because they often are. But again, you don't need every gay or bi man in the world to be open and ready for deeper connection with you. You just need to connect with the right person or people who are. And if you don't try because you've concluded that what you want doesn't exist, well, you can do that. But in the process, you also cut yourself off from the occasional people you'll meet who also want what you want. Myth number 4. When I meet the right person, I'll know right away. Yes, it's time to talk about the spark. The idea that when you meet the right person, you'll feel all the butterflies right away, you'll be whisked on a whirlwind romance, and that'll be that. So yeah, thanks for that one, Hollywood, because most of the time romance doesn't work like that at all. In fact, research shows most happy long-term relationships don't begin with an instantaneous spark. The attraction and connection builds over time, so they're more slow burn relationships than an instant explosion. And what people feel as a spark is often at best just familiarity, and at worst it's anxiety, it's over-attachment to someone, or it's a rush to tie them down before a strong and genuine connection has developed. So instead of chasing the quick sugar rush of the spark, it's better to look for people who seem dependable, reliable, and worth building something with. It's better to look for people you feel safe around, or intrigued by, or who just make you a slightly better or happier version of who you are already. Sure, if the first date is a total flop and you're really not feeling it, he's probably not the guy for you. But often it takes 3 or 4 dates to be able to decide properly whether someone is a good match for you, and that's a much better strategy in the long run. Myth number 5, if I don't play it cool, I'll put people off. Sure, if you want to repel many gay men, one of the quickest ways to do it is to act interested, warm, and emotionally available. With many gay men, showing you're interested and ready for connection will trigger all their baggage that tells them love is dangerous, and they'll disappear faster than a bottle of poppers at a circuit party. But playing it cool also stops any connection developing at all. So many potential connections in our community never even start because as gay men, we're so used to hiding or skirting around how we truly feel that nobody expresses even vague interest in each other. And sure, this kind of vulnerability does take courage. You might shoot your shot and not get the result you want, but if you never shoot your shot, you definitely won't get the result you want. So yes, not playing it cool will put some people off who either just aren't interested in you or aren't ready to be interested in you, but it will also teach you who is interested in you and ready to build something with you. And okay, there is a skill side to this. Flirting is a skill. How and when you express interest in others will impact the outcome. But learning to be keen in the right way at the right time, whether that's smiling at someone, being curious about them, even inviting them to hang out, is how you start building connections or just seeing where the interest is mutual. And none of that happens if you only ever play it cool. I'm just saying. Myth number 6. I'll get back to dating once I'm 100% ready. If you're a gay man who's been knocked around by dating, disappointed by dating, even hurt by dating, welcome to the club. It is rough on these streets, and it sucks that dating in this community can be so shitty sometimes. So if you've decided to take a time out from dating, or delete your apps for a while, or even just focus on being happily single for the foreseeable, that is okay. All of those choices are valid. But when it comes to feeling ready to date again, or even for the first time, there are 2 simultaneous truths to consider. One, yes, it sometimes is necessary to heal or process or just take some time out before you're truly ready to date. If you're still attached to your ex, or you're still angry about that guy who ghosted you last month, or you've identified you're the most anxiously attached person in the universe and it's messing up your love life, taking some time to process that without involving someone new is a good idea. But 2, at the same time, nobody is ever 100% ready in dating, or really in anything. Some healing only happens in relationships. And sometimes we won't feel fully ready, but it's only by putting ourselves out there that we learn to start connecting again. So the key here is to identify, is there genuinely a need or a challenge you're going through that means it's probably best to steer clear of dating for a while? Or would putting yourself out there, even in a small way, be the best next step for you, even if part of you is low-key terrified for what could happen? Because yeah, if you're stuck in the pattern of I'll get back to dating when I whatever, but then you do that, but now you just feel like, okay, but I'll be truly ready for dating when I whatever next, then maybe it is time to take some small step to getting out there, even if that just means updating your app bio or deciding to attend a social event. This can also easily morph into a version of myth 2, that we're only worthy of love and connection if we're perfect, if only we have a certain body type or financial situation or perfect mental health, but we're all allowed to be works in progress and to be worthy of love. The people who are ready to build real genuine love aren't looking for perfection because they know it doesn't exist. So take your time out if you need it, but let's get rid of the myth that you have to be 100% ready and perfect before you can start making new connections. Myth number 7, I'm single because I'm undateable. Yes, in case you didn't know, a defining feature of the universe is perfect fairness. If someone is happier, richer, or more successful than you, it's because they are better than you, end of story. And specifically, in this community, dating is just so easy, so uncomplicated, so controllable that anyone who is not in a relationship must be a parade of walking red flags. Okay, I think I made my point, so let me be real for a second. I work with gay and bi men on relationships for a living, and with everyone there always are areas for growth and healing, because nobody is perfect, because growing up gay leaves you with a ton of shit to work through, and just because personal growth has no ceiling, there's always more you can do. And yeah, sometimes the area of growth we work on is mission critical. Sometimes there's a pattern or habit that's really not helping someone connect with new people in the way they want to. But I've also worked with plenty of guys who feel like a failure because they're in their 30s or 40s or sometimes older or younger, and they've not been in a stable and fulfilling relationship, even though many of them tick many of the boxes for what makes someone conventionally desirable in gay culture. All that is to say, dating in this community is hard. As queer men, we're not set up to succeed in love. That doesn't mean there's nothing we can do about that, quite the opposite, but this is a reminder that if you are way more single than you'd like to be, it's never just about you. It's also about the culture we live in, the moment in history we live in, the opportunities that were and weren't available to us. And this is a reminder that if you equate being unwillingly single with failure, with inadequacy, with unworthiness, please don't do that. Because yes, even if there is something you're doing or aren't doing that's stopping you from connecting more deeply with others, it doesn't mean you failed, you suck, or you deserve to be alone. It might just mean you never got the tools you need to get where you want to be. And I'm not even going to go into how much in dating is right time, right place log, and how many gay men meet the love of their lives in their 40s, 50s, 60s, or beyond. All that is to say, being involuntarily single is not a failure and not a punishment. And it's not a reason to avoid dating because it must mean you're undateable or unlovable. If there are some ways you're pushing love away or chasing guys who aren't right for you, or you just need to start looking for love in better places, then those are opportunities for growth or healing. But this is never just about you. And if you assume it is and go into every new connection feeling unworthy and not good enough, then people tend to pick up on that, and it's not especially endearing. Because yeah, it is a cliche, but it's also a scientifically proven fact. The more you believe you're worthy of love, the more likely you are to find it. Even if you happen to be finding it for the first time, even if you think you should have found it by now. And if you don't believe that, maybe convincing yourself you are worthy of love is your biggest opportunity for growth here. Because we're all worthy of love and belonging, and love is always out there. Love can always surprise us, even when we least expect it. So if you're out there trying, but you feel like you're too late or too much, or that love just isn't on the cards for you, that's not true. You're not broken, you're just human. And love is really fucking weird sometimes, but it's always possible. So there we go. There are my 7 myths, and if any of them sound like the things your brain has told you at some point, congrats, you're officially gay or bi or just human. If you watch on YouTube, I'd love to know which of the myths resonated most strongly with you, and if you have any to add, if there's any brand of deeply internalized nonsense in our community that you've noticed, I'd love to know about that in the comments also. As always, if you want to know more about working with me, you can learn more and book a free discovery call at bettergaydating.com. This was the last episode in what I'm gloriously calling season 1 of the podcast, so I'll be taking a short break after this, but I'll be back with new episodes in a few weeks, and I'll catch you then.